Namaste everyone. Very warm good evening to all. So today we are up with another lecture under the series Beyond the Archives Locating Indian History in Oral Narratives, the history enthusiasts in collaboration with Department of English, Rani Chennamma University, Belgavi. So today we have Hanoz H.R. Patel ji with us, who is going to talk on the title The Living Epic of Baba Pithora, Rathva Traditions and Tales. A very interesting and unique title about which many of us are unaware. Uh, we warmly welcome you to the platform of the history enthusiast, sir, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It's our pleasure to host you on our platform. I also take this opportunity to welcome our honorary president, Shri Nandan Shastri ji, and founder president, Ms. Manali Momaya, Dr. Kavita Kusgal, chairman, Department of English, Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi, all the co-committee members, advisory members, and my dearest students to this particular session. And very importantly, Samruddhi, who is going to introduce our today's resource person. She is a research scholar in the Department of English, Rani Chennamma University, Belagavi. Uh, Now I request Samruddhi to introduce our today's resource person. Over to you, Samruddhi.
Thank you, ma'am. My name is Samruddhi Barve, and I feel delighted that I am given this opportunity to introduce such a personality. We have Hanoz H.R. Patel, sir, who is a museum consultant, National Tribal Freedom Fighters Museum, Development Support Agency of Gujarat, Tribal Development Department, Government of Gujarat. Sir's education is Masters of History in University of Mumbai and Masters in Museology, the MS University of Baroda, Vadodara. Hanoz Patel sir has worked in the field research and documentation in various institutions and scholars among the indigenous communities of India from the ethno-anthropological perspectives. With Dr. Matthew Salpeture, a French anthropologist, he has been working among the Rabri community of Kutch since 2011, undertaking field research on various thematic perspectives such as ethnography, ethno-veterinary, ethnobotany, socio-economic, herd dynamics, etc. He has also worked with institutions such as Bhasha Research and Publication Center, Vadodara, in diverse roles catering to study and document the culture and heritage of the indigenous communities of India. He has also worked with various museums in museum documentation and archival capacity. He has collaborated with Sahapedia to document various modules on Indian art, culture, and heritage. Currently, he is working as museum consultant for the upcoming National Tribal Freedom Fighters Museum in Garudeshwar, Gujarat. With this short and sweet introduction, I would like to present you all Mr. Hanoz Patel, sir. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Samruddhi. Now moving on to the central part of today's session, the lecture from Hanoz Patel, sir. Sir, over to you. The stage is yours. Sir, 1 second. You are on mute. Yes. Yes, now we can start.
Okay. All right. Can we start with the presentation?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So today we're gonna talk about the tradition of a tribe called Rathva in Chota Udaipur district of Gujarat, right? So what is it about? So first impression when we look at this particular tradition, the art comes to the forefront, right? So, but there's a lot more to the art. It's not just art; it's an entire culture. It's an entire epic. It's entire rituals and different things. And we'll go into the details slowly. I have input a lot of visuals, and we can have questions at whenever you want. All right. So just a background, then we'll go into the main thing. So can we have the next slide, please? Yeah. So, how did I get into that particular subject of learning about Pithora or let's say even tribal arts for that matter? So, my interest began that I'm very fond of learning new stories, especially stories about India. The second part of it was my experience with the Rabaris. When I traveled with them, I stayed with them. We almost lived with them for almost 6-7 months on a trot and traveled with them wherever like they do. Rabari is basically a nomadic pastoral community, which is based out of predominantly is from Kutch, but the tribe is the only community which does a national scale migration to shepherd their sheep and goat. So with Matthew sir, I got to an opportunity to work with him in the field. We were looking at different aspects. I won't go into much detail about that, but that had an experience one. Then came the phase where I started working with Bhasha Research and Publication Center and their sister organization, the Adivasi Academy, which got me an opportunity to do a national scale field research. What to study, document, and create a database of the tribal arts of India, including the artists. What kind of arts do they do, and what kind of things. So that gave me a direct opportunity to work with the communities and learn more things about it. In that particular phase itself, since I was staying with the Adivasi Academy in Tejgarh, so I had a lot of Rathva friends over there, and my interest in the Pithora tradition kept on increasing and increasing, and I kept on doing it in a very informal. There was no focus that I want to do a very predominantly structured understanding or a research kind of a thing. No, it was just a curiosity which kept on building over a period of time. Second, what influenced me to then go and approach Sahapedia was my experience of having a look at the cave paintings in this region. So just beyond the Adivasi Academy, there's a hill called Koraj Hill, and there are cave paintings on it which are estimately around 5,000 years old, as they say. But it's not just one hill. There's a series of hills which have been documented which have a similar kind of a cave painting thing. And based on all these things, that I then approached Peter, that I wanted to put it out of my head and put it in some kind of a platform where I can write about it or showcase to the entire nation that this is also a tradition which I am looking from a very different perspective. Yeah. So next slide, please. So these are some visuals of the cave paintings in the Koraj Hill. On the bottom right, you see the Adivasi Academy and the Koraj Hill beyond it. So on that, there's a small cave, and these are some visuals of those cave paintings. Try and focus because most of these motifs you're also going to see in the Pithora tradition as well. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, some hunting scenes, some war scenes, horse riding scenes. So you'll see a lot of similarity between these cave paintings and the Pithora tradition. Yeah, next, please. Yeah, so let me introduce who are the Rathwas. So they basically reside in Chota Udaipur, Jambugam, Naswadi talukas of Baroda district and Halor, Kalwal, Baria of the Panchmahal district. So basically now the Baroda district made a mistake there. It has become Chota Udaipur district. So basically Rathwas reside in Chota Udaipur and Panchmahal districts of Gujarat, which is this region is very close to the MP border. Rathwas speak a very distinct language which is called Rathvi, which has a lot of similarities of Gujarati because of obviously language contact. The language is predominantly a very different language. Their primary occupation is agriculture, animal husbandry, very basic stick. Modern times, they have been a lot of people have got into transport and shops and everything. The census is this. Rathwa society is very interesting. They function in an electoral traditional council under the Sarpanch. But there's another position called the police Patel, who basically is responsible in settling all the community disputes within the community. And if it doesn't work, then they approach the police. So if it is a possibility to solve within themselves, they'll prefer to resolve those issues among themselves. Right? Okay. Next, please. Yeah. So when we are talking about the Rathwas, this is again one of the curiosity things that I have. The name Rabari. The Rabari name comes from the fact that Ra se bahar chalne wale, one who does not walk on the path. So उनका नाम पड़ा Rabari. उनका originally जो lineage है, they are called Raika, the sons of Rai, which is that's a different, completely different story. Similarly, Rathwa का मतलब क्या होता है? So the Rathwa का मतलब is a geographical nomenclature. The people who reside in Rat Vistar are called Rathwa. What is Rat Vistar? So it means a jungle or a hilly region. That is how their name evolves. Right. Next, please. Yeah. So because this art is predominantly part of a theological process, an entire ritual involved in it, which we'll see. So I have included this information on the religion. Basically, Rathvas are nature worshippers, ancestor worshippers through their shamans. I'm using a very common term, shaman, but the community uses the titles Badwa or Bhuva, right? They have several gods and goddesses which are worshipped as and when needed based on the requirement. Family के deities अलग होते हैं, village has a different god, children have different gods, and so on and so on. So prominently Gram Devta, which will be the village Devta, Khatrish Devta would be the family deity or the Kul Devta kind of a thing, which are basically worshipped. In recent times, members have been also, they have joined the Swaminarayan, Satwaikal, and the Ramanandi sects as well. Yeah, next please. Okay, so this particular deity that you see, his name is Nakti Bhuten. So he is a spirit god. He doesn't have any form, but he protects the village from all kind of negativity that can enter the village. So his particular job is to protect the village like a dream catcher. You can interpret him as a dream catcher. So whatever negativity is supposed to or entering towards the village, this deity will protect the village from all that kind of thing. Right. Next, please. Yeah. So there's a concept of devsthals among the Rathva. So there'll be a space identified in one of the corners of the village, and that place will become a place of worship for the Rathvas. Now, how do they worship is an interpretive. That image that you see on the right is from a museum, Vacha Museum at the Adivasi Academy. So it's basically a tree is chosen. Predominantly, it is the Mahuda tree that they identify. They start putting offerings over there. So offerings can be for the gods, for the ancestors, for different festivals. Different rituals are followed, right? Offerings are what? So you see like the wooden horses, terracotta horses, lamps, pots, so terracotta items. These items that you see right here, they are not made by the Rathva. They are made by the Vasawa community, which is a potter community. So a different community prepares it for them, and the Rathvas then purchase them. So you can see the economy and the connection between the other communities over here. Right. Next, please. So yeah, these are some visuals of how a Rathva Devsthal would look like. This is from the Kabadia village in Chota Udaipur district. So you can see the wooden totems that you can see. They are called khil, Khil, khil. You can also see lamps, terracotta horses, small offerings. This place becomes a Devsthal for them, right? Okay, next. Yeah, so this is another Devsthal from the Kedkua village, which is close to the Panch Mahal or the Jambughoda region. Now here you can see slight variation. The keels have become very larger or taller. And why is this very significant? Because this village is a mixture between the Nayak tribe and the Rathwa tribe. Now this particular location is worshipped by both tribes, but it is predominantly managed or the worship or the rituals are conducted by the Rathva themselves. Nayak only come here and worship. Right? You can see some horse riding and different animal riding deities as well. Yeah. Next, please. So, what kind of festivals do they follow? So, the most important festival for the Rathva is the Holi, right? So, there's Diwaso, which Dasera, Dev Diwali, and Nakhatri. These are the main holidays for them. It is very interesting is that most of the tribes they don't take like we take Sundays off and all. So, Poonam is one of the days that they usually take a leave. Otherwise, they'll work on the entire month. Yeah. Next. One important aspect of the tribal community of Gujarat specifically that I have seen, Gujarat, Rajasthan, and MP also, is that they have a tradition of melas, a large gathering of melas. So, number of melas occur in this particular region. I'm specifically talking about the Chota Udaipur region, like the Tela Mata in Pavijetpur. The Gher Mela of Kawat is a very famous mela which happens in Holi. If you can have a visit over there, it could be very interesting. The image is from the Gher Mela in Kawat. Different melas happen in different locations. Ultimately they culminate with the Gher Mela in Kawat, all the holy melas. Apart from that, the Adivasi Academy usually hosts the Tur Mela. The Tur Mela was initiated to have an interaction with the tribal musician. It is basically a tribal music ka ek mela hai wo. The Kaleshwari Mela was started back in 95-96 by Bhasha Research and Publication Center as an event where the police and the tribals could interact and the fear between each other communities would disappear. So there were several activities. Now it is an Mela on its own. People, there's no person organizing it. People just come, they enjoy. Now in Kaleshwari Mela, which happens on Mahashivratri Day, you'll get to see a lot of tribal dance over there. So Tur Mela में music देख पाएंगे, Kaleshwari Mela में आप tribal dance forms देख पाएंगे. It's not just of Gujarat. Several tribes from Jharkhand, Gujarat, Northeast have all started coming over there in the recent times. Next. Yeah. So another interesting aspect of the tribal culture over here is the concept of heart. Now, heart is a weekly market. It keeps on moving from one region to the other. So Saturdays, if you go to Chota Udaipur town, you'll get to see the heart. If you have to go early in the morning, so you'll get to see the entire happening. Barter is still practiced, so you'll get to experience that. But apart from heart, it's one includes just not a market, it's also a place of congregation. They'll get to exchange information, whose wedding is being organized, Pithora kahan ho raha hai, kahan shadi ho rahi hai, kahan bachcha hua hai, kahan death hui hai. All kind of community information can be gathered. Your friends and families will come and meet here, do their purchases, do their business, and then they'll move on. Yeah, next please. So when I started learning little bit about Pithora, so I had 10,000 kind of questions, but basically it was just to know, okay, what is the tradition about? Who is Baba Pithora? What is the Pithora about? Where, how can you experience it? What are the stories involved in it? Who are involved? What is a tradition? Who ordains the rituals if it is a tradition? When does the art come into the ritual? Who is the artist? And so on and so forth. So if ma'am just said that there are students over here, so if somebody wants to take a crack at it, so if you see the Pithora the first time, how would you describe it? If somebody wants to have a very quick opinion about it, we can have a. Is it possible to somebody to pitch in?
So they all have joined through YouTube. So they
Okay,
will,
okay.
if someone puts a text in the chat box, I'll inform
Okay,
them.
okay, I'll avoid that then. So basically, I'll tell you my own experience. When I saw this for the first time, I thought it was some wedding ritual, wedding procession, pura entire depiction. But it was completely different to what I had expected. So that's one point that I'm trying to push. Sorry.
Can I tell my views, sir, about it?
Yeah, please, sure. That would be interesting.
Uh, uh, I'm feeling that it is a war situation. Animals
Yeah.
are going for war or something like that.
Yeah. So it's completely opposite of what we interpret. So that's what my point was. So when we see this tradition of Pithora, the art takes the center stage, right? So when we see it for the first time, we'll say a wedding procession. Hey, it's a war scene because we are seeing horses, we are seeing animals, we are seeing 10,000, and we also see an elephant over there. So there are multiple interpretations that a person will do, but the entire story is the tradition itself. So who do we go and ask it? So we ask the Rathva about it. So that's what basically I did based on these questions that I just put on the next. So we'll go into what the traditions and what exactly the story of Pithora is. That's the entire idea of it. Yeah. Next, please.
If you could see the comments, sir.
Yeah, I can. I can. Yeah,
Yeah.
Pallaviji, we'll see what it is. And eventually, we'll find out. Yeah. Next, please. So, when I started getting into this, I realized there are two different perspectives to this entire thing. So, what is the Rathva perspective and what is the perspective of a first time experience? What is the Rathva perspective? That Baba Pithora is their supreme god, right? Art of the Pithora is part of a larger ritual. So, we need to understand what is the ritual about. The ritual is the story of Epic of Baba Pithora, which is the title of the talk as well. What is the Baba Pithora tradition and culture? We'll get stories are upcoming. Who are involved? Who are Lakhara Gardani? Who are they? We'll get to learn about them. On the reverse, on the opposite side, what is the experience, first time experience? If you go into that perspective, art takes the central focus, as I said. Then we'll start to call it, because it is on the walls, it is a mural. now we'll talk about the aesthetics. It looks like a war, it looks like a procession, it looks like a festival, right? So if it is culturally associated, then what is the culture? Who are the exponents or the most famous Pithora artists? That would be. So as an example, if you see the horses in the center of the slide, on the left, if you try and understand the perspectives. For the Rathva, these horses are the offerings for their gods. On the right, it would be for a person who does not know all this, that would become a collectible for his house. कि मैं यहाँ पे जाके I'll just have a memento that I went to this place, so let me take it. It's very beautiful. मैं इसमें lamp लगाऊंगा and so on. So then people have done that. Not a problem. Neither the Rathva feel bad about it, neither should you feel bad about it. But the problem is, what is that artifact exactly entail? What is the story of the artifact? That has to be known. So that's the idea that I'm putting forward. There are two perspectives to the same thing. Like we say always, the coin has a two sides. So that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, next please. So yeah, now we come to the entire story of Baba Pithora and his epic. We'll get into the stories. Next please. So yeah, so how was Pithora born? The first step at is there was a the king of the gods, Baba Ind or Lord Indra, who was also called Meghraj. He ruled the heavens and earth. So he had 7 sisters. Now among the 7 sisters, our focus should be on Rani Kajal and Rani Kali Koyal, right? So the images that you'll see is how I can't see this name. Okay, fine. So on the right, you'll see who the images are representing. Just 1 second, I did something wrong. Okay, yeah. So this is how Baba in this portrait in the Pithora tradition. Yeah, next please. So what happens is mother to nature, nature mother to Pithora, and then we are going to go learn about the story of Rani Koyal, right? Rani Koyal was the most beautiful sisters among all the sisters of Baba Hind. She had a favorite goat and a favorite cow, which she used to take to the mango farms of Raja Bhoj, and she used to graze them there. So one day, Kandu Raja, who was also called Savarya Molan, he comes over there. They interact, they fall in love, and then she becomes pregnant. Now, because she is not married, she has to hide her pregnancy or conceal a pregnancy from her brother and his wife. So Rani Hantu finds out that slightly her stomach is swelling, and she asks Rani Kaur, okay, why is your stomach swelling? So she says, I drank a lot of celestial water of the Mahuda, which is why my stomach is swelling. So now she understands that I have to leave this place and go to somewhere. So she goes back to the mango farms of Raja Bhoj. And then 9 months and 9 days later, Harjabai Hoyani, which is the celestial Daima, or the one who is going to help Rani Koel in the pregnancy or the delivery of the entire thing, along with her, Bar Mathano Dhani arrived. 2 celestial beings arrived to help her through this pregnancy. She gives 4 births. The first birth is to the trees, flowers, and fruits. The second is to the grains and pulses. The third to the elements of nature, air, fire, lightning, and animals and insects. And finally, the celestial child, Pithora, is born. Right? Next, please. Yeah, so this is how Bar Mathano Dhani is portrayed in the image. He has 12 heads, so he is basically the enlightened one. He has knowledge coming from all the 12 directions of Earth. So that's how he's basically portrayed. On the right, Raja Bhoj is usually portrayed as an elephant. Right? Next. Right. So now, being unmarried, Rani Koil can't keep the child, and with very great difficulty, she decides that she will wrap the child Pithora, put him on a lotus leaf, and let him float in the rivers of Ganga and Jamuna. And this is where, after she floats him away, Rani Kajal sees the child floating in the water. She decides to rescue him, and then after rescuing him, she decides, I am going to adopt this child. She is also not married, so she adopts him and makes him. She takes care of him. So because she's not married, how does she feed him? So she feeds him the milk of the akado tree and juice of various flowers and plants. So Sisters of Fate, that's the title of it. One lets him go, one adopts him. Right? Next, please. So one fine day, when the child is growing up, Rani Kajal has to go fetch water. So she puts him in a crib and she makes sure that he slept. So he slept, and now she decides, okay, I'll go and fetch water quickly before the child wakes up. So by the time she comes back, the child has disappeared from the crib. Now she gets worried. And this is where a ritual the Rathva follow till date is will be showcased. So they make a padiki. Padiki is a packet. So they'll have leaves of khakra or mahuda or any auspicious tree. They'll put some pulses into it, and then they'll wrap it either with a silver coin or some valuable. Take it to the village buwa, and he'll make predictions based on. So the packet will be opened before the Bua will open the packet on his floor. All the things will fall, and based on the how the items have fallen, he'll make predictions. So that's one kind of a ritual. So Rani Kajal decides to call Titya and Brahma Joshi, who are fortune tellers or also Buas of the ancient times, and they do all their rituals and they inform Rani Kajal that your child is actually a divine child and he has chosen his throne to be in this wall. As soon as you accept that my child is a divine child, is a godly child, every problem in your life will be solved and he will return back to the grave. And as soon as she does what is told to her, the child returns back. Now, this story tells us why do we find the tradition of Pithora art to be on the walls, right? So, ये story हमें वही बताता है कि why do we find Pithora entire tradition to be on the walls? Where in the walls exactly? We'll look into that. Yeah, next please. Right. So now Pithoro, Rani Kajal knows that he is a celestial child. So she invites all the celestial beings from the world to provide him with all kinds of different forms of education of which will require. And one fine day, then Pithoro goes and talks to Rani Kajal and says that I know who my original parents are and I know Baba in this my uncle. I want a part of my birthright, which is a portion of Baba Hind's kingdom. Yeah, very similarities, ma'am. Right. So he tells Rani Kajal that, but Baba In's court is in the heavens. How does one travel from earth to heaven? So this is where a story associated comes into the picture. Now the image that you see of a spider is the character's name or the motive's name is Mama Karodio. So Mama, maternal uncle, and Karodio basically means a spider. So the spider weaves his web, and the based on that, the child Pithoro then travels into the heaven. So Baba इनके कोर्ट में ही आते हैं and he tells them, he does not tell him who he is. He just tells him that I want a part of your kingdom as my birthright, but he does not explain his birthright. Baba in this surprise, suddenly this child comes up in front of him and says it is my birthright. He does not understand. So he summons the entire court of his gods and goddesses to discuss. Everybody is very worried. Okay, how can somebody whose lineage is not known and suddenly is asking for so and so? And then Pithoro suddenly gets up and he points to his original father and mother. And this is when the entire court realizes that he is actually the son of Rani Koyal and Kandu Raja, and that basically makes him the nephew of Baba Hind. And by that right, his lineage is unveiled, and now he can demand a part of his kingdom, right? So now we are learning that how a celestial child is becoming into the making of a god. Yeah. Next, please. So there's conflict. Baba Ind refuses to accept that Pithora is his nephew. He does not want to fulfill the demand of giving a portion of his kingdom to Pithoro, and that creates an entire tense situation in the world. Things start falling apart. There's drought everywhere, there's famine somewhere, there's intensive rains, all kind of natural calamities are happening. So Rani Kajal does not want this entire thing to escalate. She wants both her brother and her son, adopted son, to have a peaceful solution. So she invites Lakhari and Jokhari. So Lakhari and Jokhari are scribes of God who write the future of humans. So they are invited and they perform their own rituals. So this is how Lakhari and Jokhari are portrayed in the Pithora tradition. Right. Next, please. So Lakhari and Jokhari get to their work, they start drawing horses of different deities of them, Baba Gane, Rani Kajal, Baba In, Baba Pithora, and so on. All these kind of important deities are drawn where on the seat that was chosen by Pithora on the wall. So as soon as the horses and the are drawn, several miracles start to occur in the world. Famine disappear, drought disappears, flood stop, everything is hunky dory, everything is good, everybody is happy. This becomes the proof that Pithora indeed is a divine child, he is a god, and basically all the gods and goddesses in the court of realize that he is a god. So that in itself is a proof. So they intervene and convince Baba Ind that you should give a part of your kingdom to Baba Pithora because he is your nephew and he is entitled to his birthright. So now there are two stories, two versions to this story of how this thing ends. In one story, Baba In gives him a portion of his kingdom, and Pithora functions that particular kingdom on his own. The second version is Baba In decides to retire and give entire kingdom to Pithora, and then Pithora becomes the king of the gods. Right? Next, please. So yeah, so now he's become a god. He's got a kingdom of his own. So Rani Kajal wants Pithora to get married. So she starts looking for suitable brides for him, and finally decides that the daughter of Abo, Kunbi, and Matari, which is on the right, how they are portrayed, whose name is Rani Pithori, to be the ideal bride for or the ideal wife for Pithoro. Their marriage is organized. It's a grand wedding. All the gods and goddesses, everybody come and give their blessings to the child. So on the occasion of the wedding, Abo, Kunbi, and Matari, who possess the knowledge of agriculture, decide that on this occasion we will give the knowledge of agriculture to the entire humanity. We'll teach them how to do agriculture, and they'll prosper on that. So this story is how they agriculture came to the humans. Yeah. Next. So now we saw the very in a very quick manner. Okay, what is the epic of the end? It's a very long story which I've put in a very short. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's very briefly we saw how a child was discarded, then was adopted, then he become a god and everything, and the entire story. So now we need to understand how does this entire thing become a ritual. So one particular time there might have been a devotee of Baba Pithora where wherever he was living there was a severe drought. So that devotee decided to take a vow, a manta, as the Rathva call it, to please Baba Pithora, and told him that I am in such kind of trouble. Do something, help me out, resolve my problem, and I'll try and complete my vow and bring you into my home. So as soon as this entire manta is done, all the rain comes back, earth becomes green, everything is good. So now devotee, to complete his promise, organizes a 7 day celebration where feast is there, rituals are being performed, different ceremonies are being performed, and on the last day, the mural of Baba Pithora is painted inside the house, and that is the origin of the ritual as the Rathva tells. So this is how the Boa portrayed in the Pithora painting. Yeah. Next, please. So now we get to the social aspect of the entire thing. Get to the ground reality. Okay? How is this entire ritual practiced? So we know now that Baba Pithora is the chief god who takes away all the problems from the Rathva. So the problems can be anything. It can be sickness, money shortages, farming issues, children, marriage, and everything. So there are three different aspects of the Rathva society which are involved here. The first is the Ghardani, or the family or the homeowner. The second is the village Bua or Badwa, the shaman or the priest or the medicine man. The third is the Lakhara, who is the artist. Now, what does Lakhara mean? We'll get into that. Right? So, next, please. So, in this very one slide, we'll get to understand everything. So, what does the Ghardani do when he faces a problem? So, he'll do that Padiki ritual, Urad dal and whatever, Kesuda leaves, Mahuda leaves, he'll pack it. He'll put it in his house for a few days, and after that, he'll go to the village Bua and Badwa. Now, in the role of the Bua is he's like This is a tradition, hereditary tradition, the father to the son. The knowledge is passed on generation to generation, right? So he is basically a communication link between the Gardani, the Lakhara, and the gods for the Rathva. So every kind of problem, if it can be solved, they'll first prefer to go to the Bua. It could be about a veterinary issue. It could be problems between brothers, family dispute. It could be agricultural issues or any kind of a problem. They'll first go to the Bua, try and resolve it there, and then if it doesn't get resolved, they'll try and apply more knowledge and approach more people, right? So when the Gardani takes the Padiki to the Bua, he'll do his ritual, apply his ancestral knowledge, which is learned through generations and generations. He'll start making predictions. Do you have monetary problems? Do you have shortage of seeds for the agriculture or sowing and so on and so forth? He'll make predictions. He'll then give some remedies. Okay, try and do this, try and do that. If nothing worse, he'll say that finally we should take the manta of Baba Pithora, right? Then the third element of the society. Now there is the Lakhara, the artist. Now what does Lakhara mean? Ratvi, it very basically means a creative individual. Lakhara basically means creative individual. In this context, he becomes the artist of the Pithora. So again, a creative act. This again is a hereditary practice. Families teach, father will teach the son, and so on and so forth. They'll have a big popularity based on their how good they are, and they're basically there. So now, when the part of doing the mural or doing the art of Pithora is required, the Gardani, along with the Bua, will have to travel and invite the Lakhara. This entire process is called Notru. Now, the process will entail not just inviting but giving him gifts as well. So new footwear or clothes or some kind of an offering along with some animal they'll give to the Lakhara. Now the method of choosing the Lakhara is also who is famous, what kind of popularity reputation does he have. So they'll choose an ideal Lakhara based on the monetary status of the Gardani. How much can he afford? It's an economically expensive entire ritual, so it requires that association as well. Yeah. Next, please. So this entire ritual is being had, the problems get solved. So finally, when the Gardani decides that now I'll fulfill my promise and invite Baba Pithora into my house, so the artist will come. So that 7 day celebration will be convened by the Gardani. So the entire village partakes in it. There'll be food for all 7 days, twice a day. Everybody partakes in. Everybody cooks. Everybody dances. It's a long 7 day ritual. Now the Lakhara would come on the fourth day of the ritual, right? So he'll come and in his presence there'll be a vidhi, which is called the Pangu vidhi or the Pandu vidhi. Basically, it is collecting white clay from the river banks. It has to be done by unmarried girls or who are they'll collect them and then apply to the wall on which the Pithora has to be done. So after the Pandu Vidhi is completed, the Gardani and the Lakhara will start the first puja before standing in front of the wall where the mural is supposed to be made. What is the first motive? The first motive is Baba Kani, which is what you see on the right, the image. This is the very first motive that you paint, and the structure is clear, and the Gardani usually colors it. That's the tradition. Sometimes not. Yeah. And during this entire thing, bhajans and songs and will be sung by the Bua and his team. Some videos we'll see at the end of the presentation. Yeah. Next, please. So, in terms of traditionally, how was Pithora done some time ago? So they used to make brushes out of bamboo. They used to use natural pigments almost like as short as around 7 8 years ago. Also, they used to do it, but now architecture of this region also has changed. They no longer have those thatched roof houses. They have all modern houses over there. So now you see modern mediums being included. In the old days, when the natural pigment colors used to be there, the powder colors, they used to mix mahuda, alcohol, and cows into it. This had a reason behind it. So the alcohol ensures that the insects do not attack or destroy the Pithora. The second ingredient, milk, adds luster to the color, so it looks very vibrant and it stays like that for a while, right? So one interesting thing is that any single Pithora that you'll see, at least you'll see 165 different types of motives in it. Now, when I say motives, it'll be somebody can say characters. There are to make it very obvious, there are 165 types of stories entirely into the one Pithora painting. Yeah. Next, please. So yeah, so Rathvas themselves have done quite a bit research on this subject. So Narayan Bhai and Vikesh Bhai Rathva, who are my good friends and my teachers, entirely what you've learned over here or what I've told the stories, most of them have come through this, and they have written a book called Rathva Samajma Baba Pithora, which is available in Gujarati. So they are curators of the Vacha Museum and the Adivasi Academy. The entire collection and the display and everything they have done on their own. So if somebody wants to read it, just let me know and I'll share a PDF if you want. Yeah, next please. So here Vikesh and Narayan Bhai, throughout their research, they have documented a lot of traditional pictoras. So we'll see some of them over here. So if I'll just explain when I say 165 motives. Now we saw in the initial phase we discussed that it looks like a war scene, like a festival or different kind of thing. So I want to talk about what is it all about if uh, the image disappeared. Hello.
Just give me a second. I'll fix it.
Okay. Okay.
So if you want, you can continue. In 1 minute, I'll re-share it.
Okay. Actually, I wanted to explain the Pithora through the
Yes.
image, so that's
In
why.
1 minute, I'll be
All,
uploading it.
all right.
It
All
was
right.
some technical issue.
So by that time, can we then try and see if there are some questions or something? Then we can do that.
Yeah, of
We
course,
can
sure.
share.
I'll share
Yeah.
some of the questions
Yeah.
till that.
Okay.
I hope you can see the
Yeah, I
question.
can. I can. I can. Yeah, Manali ma'am. So there are stories of origin. There are different stories of origin. So within this entire thing, we are seeing how tribals look at nature and how they define themselves. Terminologies apart, this entire story tells how they think nature brought them this entire thing and everything. So you see, like there was a comment like it looks like Kunti and what's his name? How can I forget this name? Something else. Huh. So I Forgot what the question was. It does, yeah. So she becomes a character through which they are trying to define how nature, or she's like a mother to the nature that we see right now. She also had a mother. So how entire ecology got into existence. Like I'll tell you a different story from the Gond tribe. So very quickly, if I tell you, you'll get to see how it looks like. So the entire earth was only filled with water, and Badadev, or the chief god of the Gonds, wanted to take a walk. I'm very putting it not very verbatim, very in a very short manner. So he wanted to take a walk, but there was no land. So he created a crow. So crow was white in color. He asked him to travel in all the directions and collect some dirt or some land or some earth, and he'll create earth entirely. So the crow travels in different locations and does not find one. In one location he sees Sheshnag sitting. He tries to go and rest on Sheshnag, and the minute he lands, Sheshnag's sleep gets disturbed. He hisses on him, and the white crow becomes black. He ultimately finds some dirt over there. He goes back to Badadev, and Badadev makes the earth. Now, Badadev, when he makes the earth, it is on the water, so it's not stable. So when it's not stable, it is everybody is just shaking. Everything, earth entirely is shaking. So now he creates a community called Agaria. Agaria is a blacksmith, ironsmith. So he asks them to create 4 different nails. Now with these nails, they put in different corners of the earth, and the earth becomes stable. Now Badadev says, I want to have some grass, some trees, and ecology. So he creates everything. Now he wants somebody to take, uh, what you can say, safeguard this entire nature that he's created. So he gives birth to the first Gondi lady, or Mool Gondi, or Mula Gondi. So this entire thing is very interesting. I will not go into interpretation because I myself keep away from all these things. There are moral dimensions for very sure, that too. Yeah.
I think we were on this slide, right?
The traditional Pithoras, if we can go there,
Okay.
the photos. It's basically the after this, I guess. One more.
Okay.
Huh. So this triangle that you see, this I don't know if I can use the mouse or something. So you see on the bottom, you'll see a small opening, right? And the floral design on the borders of this entire rectangle that you see. So when you very crudely, if I explain, that's basically the entire Rathva world you put in that particular rectangle. If you enter from that gate, you are born. When you exit from that gate, you are dead. There are deities on the borders, the blue ones outside. So they are spirit gods who protect uh, the Rathwa worldview. You see the elephant of Raja Bhoj, you see Abo, Kunbi, and Matari, you see the uh, Bar Matano Dhani, and you see the primary gods Baba in Rani Pithori, Baba Pithora, and Rani Kajal, Rani Koel, and so forth. There's a floral design, so there the canopy kind of a thing in the painting within this rectangle. There are two, it is that art motif is called ashad. There are two interpretations of that ashad. One can be that it's basically a canopy for the gods who are on the horses underneath the ashad. The other is it's basically a separation between the heavens and earth. So whatever is under it, it is all earth, and above is all God. So that's why you see the sun and the moon and celestial beings on the top. So this is entirely, this is how, this is the core, or the entire foundation of this entire tradition. This is the entire story of Pithora. If you go to a Lakhara or a Bua, he'll be able to explain in much better way, by telling you story of each and every motive that is there, right? So just to give you an idea, so it's not a war scene, not a wedding procession or a festival. It's the epic of Baba Pithora right in front of you. Yeah. Next, please. You will just see some traditional Pithoras how colors and everything look vibrant and everything. So these are old 30, 40, 50 year old Pithora, still very vibrant. Yeah. Next, please. So these the uh, horses on the left that you see, they are called Purvaj Nagoda. So these are done to honor the ancestors. Should not interpret as that these number of ancestors were being worshipped, but it is basically done to feel like that. These are specifically for the ancestors of this particular family, right? Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, so this is the most oldest Pithora that Narayan Bhai and Vikesh Bhai have documented. It's approximately about 50, 60-year old. They have kept it. It's basically inside a hut on a thatched roof hut. Then they tried to fortify it from the outside, and this is the present condition. It's about 6 years or 5 years old photo. Yeah. Next, please. Yeah, so you see here on the top left, you can see Nakti Bhutan, modern elements coming. So when a Rathva experiences a modern, so you'll see a watch somewhere. You'll see, you can even see an AK-47 somewhere. You'll see a train and a plane. So whatever is in their worldview or their environment or something new, which the Lakara thinks that "Hey, I want to put it in my painting," he is allowed that freedom to do that. Yeah. Next, please. Yeah. So again, uh, Purvaj Nagoda or horses for the ancestors. Next, please. So you can see the rifle over here. Gun. So some visuals of the rituals that I put in over here. After that, we'll see some videos which will make it much more interesting. So yeah, next please. So this is how the team of Lakaras started doing their work. Next please. So usually when this scale of Pithora has to be done, so you saw how it began, now it is taking shape. So the team of Lakaras would be around 8 to 10 people under one very prominent Lakara or an experienced Lakara. So you can see the number of detailing that is done in this entire thing. Yeah. Next, please. So here again you can see four working in one. So an active butane is visible, the train is visible. Train has become a very common feature now. Yeah, next please. Yeah, now you can see. So now with this image, I'll explain where exactly will you see. So imagine a rectangular house, a rectangular architecture, if you will, and the entrance of that house is in the center. When you enter the Rathva house, this you enter this particular space. This space is called osari. Now, in this one side would be a kitchen or might be a space where you keep your animals. So, in this geography of the country, usually they keep a space within the main household where it's basically an internal space where you can keep your animals, your cows, your buffaloes, and everything. So, this region is called the osari, and in this space is where the Pithora is the art of Pithora can be seen. Yeah. Next, please. Just another view of. So Boas doing their bhajans and rituals. You'll see a video of this gentleman later on. Yeah. Next, please. So it's a the entire 7 day ritual, as I said, that you'll get to eat food 2 times a day. So what is the Rathwa cuisine? So very short. These are called dhebras. Urad ke dal vade hote hain. So it's prepared by the women. Just keep on making it the entire day after day, and they fry it. It's fantastic to eat. So when they go migrating or even modern times, they usually carry debras, so they can keep them for almost 7 8 days. Just have little chutney or something or some onion, and they can eat it and move on and do their work. Yeah, next please. Yeah, okay. So in one of my many conversation with Naran Bhai, I was talking to him, and ultimately this came up somewhere. So if you want to explain what is a Pithora, so it's in truest form, it is a storytelling in its purest form. It's a form of writing rather than an art form with imagery that preserves the collective memory of the tribe, its history, its faith and tradition. That's the ideal definition, which was the conversation was in Gujarati, but the verb, it's been translated for a better in English for the wider audience. This is the ideal definition that the community has put forth before me, and I put it before. Yeah. So here I in we can have a very quick look through the videos if we can.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. So this is how the ritual is being performed. The gentleman in the white is a Bua, a shaman. He is performing the last part of the ritual before the completed version of the Pithora. And probably this gentleman is a Rathva and wearing his traditional attire. Yeah, next please. So this is just about the Rathwa musical instrument, the khangli, or popularly known as morchang. So yeah, this also gets performed somewhere during the ritual. Next, please. Can we pause? Yeah. So I'll just explain. So these baskets that you see are called juara. So they'll be what the village or the household produces in his field. And you see some pots over there. So they'll have different ingredients like mauda, alcohol, oil, or milk or something. So when we say alcohol, the minute we say alcohol, it becomes, is it, sorry, I couldn't. So when we say alcohol, it immediately goes that they do they consume alcohol. So no, alcohol is one of a very it's considered very pure because it purifies, it clears, and it is a very integral part of the entire community, not just the Rathwa, any tribal community if you go. So here you'll see Mahuda alcohol being very prominently used in this entire ritual. Yeah, next please. Is this the last one? Forgot. You can stop if you want. Okay, so
So there's
this
one last.
is
Okay.
all right. Yeah, we can stop if you want. Just a snippet of how Rathva music sounds like.
Uh, can you repeat, sir?
I said we can stop if you want. We can address the questions because more or less just how the Rathva music sounds like.
Yes, sir. So, thank you very much, sir, for the very engaging and very, very interesting lecture. And it has been a very colorful journey so far with such beautiful motifs and so much new information that we have obtained today. And we have uh, a lot of questions here. And I think Nidhi had taken up one question which I had posted already.
Yeah.
So,
The
Nidhi, could
first
you
one,
point out
the first
of
one, I guess I
Okay,
had taken.
yeah, of Rani Koyal. Okay, so we can skip
So
that.
there are books. There are several books on Rathva worldview already published. So you can go through them. I think
Thank you,
you
sir.
can understand and read Gujarati, so that won't be a problem.
Absolutely, yes. Thank you, sir. Joshna Parsekar has asked, sir, could you tell us about the colors that they used for these arts?
So yeah, traditionally, as I said, they used to use pigment-based colors. They used to get it from the Khatri community in Gujarat. So from on the close to the Kutch region basically. So there's a community which is to make the natural pigment color. So they used to arrive in Chota Udaipur region in powder form, and the mixing of the colors. That's a visual that we saw also, that the color mixing was happening. So in that they used to put mahuda alcohol and some milk into it for luster and for protection from the insects. Yeah, so that's basically how the colors used to be. Now it's all modern Asian paints mostly.
So,
What do
if I'm
the
not wrong, the Khatri community is engaged in textile
yeah yeah yeah
coloring,
yeah
right?
yeah that too.
Thank you, sir. So, this is the next
What do
question.
there are
Uh,
which seem it would be too difficult. What do they represent?
so,
Basically, the entire story, the entire every motive is a story in relation to Baba Pithora's story. That would be in short if I have to answer.
thank you, sir. So, I have another question. The different motifs, they seem to form a symbolic vocabulary of their own. So, are there
Yeah.
any regional variations in these motifs? Like instead of the horse, is there something else? Or
No,
do they change with the Lakharas or the Gardhani's social context?
it varies from Lakara to Lakara. The style varies. Like if you go back to the presentation, also the portrayal of one particular very interesting character, which I find Bar Matanadharani is portrayed in many different forms. Somewhere he has a head, somewhere he has head of snake, somewhere he has a head of swords. So it varies how the Lakara wants to portray. And what was the next part of it? So if you go and see the Pithora of the Bhils, so Rathvas are also, I mean, they're either Koli or they're Bhils related close by. So when you see the Pithora, how the Bhils do it, it's completely different to what you see the Rathvas doing. Rathvas are very, what you can say, larger storytelling rather than short. Bhili Pithora is a very different style in which they do. The god is same. The style varies. Geography because geography varies. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Nandan sir has a very interesting question. Why only unmarried girls are supposed to prepare the wall surface and only men do the paintings?
So the ones who have just hit puberty is the why unmarried girls are supposed to do it. I try to use a very non conflicted words. Yeah, so unmarried, but it's either that they have just hit puberty and they can get married. So that's the age criteria. Why only men do it? I've never got into that subject, but it's usually the men that were to do the painting and of the ritual of Pithora. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Mushabbareen from RCUB has asked, which Indian states are mainly associated with the worship of Baba Pithora?
MP and Gujarat predominantly. I've only seen them in this region.
Thank you,
Oh,
sir. Ambika Kamble has asked, please tell me about the famous Pithora artist names.
so Man Singh Bhai Rathva is used to. He is one of the most famous, but he's almost retired. There's one Paresh Rathwa ji. There's a De Singh Bhai. But if you want to know more about artists, I'll probably refer you to Naran Bhai. He'll have a list of 100 names. I just know two or three names. I look it from a different thing, so I've not spoken that much to the Lakaras here. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So I have another question. You pointed out that the mural is painted on the interior walls of the homes. So what does it mean for sacred art to exist within the domestic sphere instead of a temple or a shrine?
So it's basically very simply put. It's like when they have taken the manta and Pithora has resolved their issue. So he becomes that entire ritual is basically very simplistically put. He becomes a part of their family. So his throne is made inside their family. So now he's part of their family. It's not a shrine. It's not. It's like a member of family just added on to the family. That's the idealistic. So if that's the most best way I can explain. It's not a shrine. They don't worship it like every day or something. Like we have mandir from will worship, or like a Pichwa is also worshipped along with Krishna. It's not that way. Only on important occasions like there's a wedding or a festival or something, then Pithora is worshipped. But on the other way, he's like a member of the family now in the house.
Uh, So I was also wondering, sir, as in our house, our native village in Kutch, we have inside the house a small space dedicated to Pursa. So is this something similar?
I have spent a lot of time in Kutch, but never heard about Pursa. Kutch is too big to know in one lifetime, so I don't know.
Another question by Saumya ji. What is the mythology or spiritual significance of Baba Pithora in tribal communities?
So yeah, so again, when we say mythology, it's what we are looking at it. For them, it is their culture, their epic. So if I call Ramayana the mythology, it will trigger a lot of people. So we should stay away from these terms. It is their culture and their story. So we should need to understand it. How do they interpret? That is the entire focus. That I want to know what they know, what is in their head. That's been my focus. I've never tried to. Whatever I've told also, it's just verbatim most probably. I just concise is a little for the duration of the entire thing. So we need to look at it from their perspective. Spirituality is always, I mean, even if you look into the Ramayana, there's spirituality there. If you look at Mahabharata, there's spirituality there. So you can't separate spirituality in anywhere in India. Even if you go to northeastern states like Sikkim, you'll find. I'll tell you an example. I was in Sikkim and we were documenting dance form of 10 tribes of Sikkim for Bhasha itself. So we were in a village. I forgot the name of the village, but the tribe name is Bujel. So Bujel come because they were very strong in the Bhuja, so they could cut a man's head when one swing. So Bujel ban gaye. So I had put my bag on some stones. I didn't know. So some elder person just came and said, "Okay, sir, please pick up your bag. These you have put my bag on our gods." They're just common three stones there. Nobody would know. Okay, they are supposed. Then when I see, then I saw some tika vika, and then I realized, okay, I made a mistake. But they were put in such inconspicuous space with no fanfare or anything that I just put my bag away. So that's how we need to understand do how does the community look at this entire thing. If they believe it, who are we to question?
Absolutely, sir. So there is another question by Kashmira Kailashi ji. Is it that each horse denoting the ancestors has a different motive on its body?
Not really. Usually, it's like an Vibgyor only that they do. But what interestingly is that when we see a Pithora, I still not been able to understand whether the horses are the deity or whether the horse rider the deity or horse rider and the horse is the deity. So you see, there are the multiple interpretations. I got an answer that why horse, because horse is considered the vehicle of Mother Earth. Why the horse? Because it becomes a transport wise, and in ancient times it was the only primary asset that people had. So there are multiple interpretations why horse. Portraying them is nature colors that you see around them. So as vibrant colors were available, the vibrancy in the colors started to come. For the ancestors, it is not that different from the main Pithora that you see.
So that brings us to Nidhi's question. Uh, why
Yeah, so
Nidhi, would you
this
read?
got answered already, I guess. Yeah, so you
Yes.
got multiple interpretations. So, like uh, uh, Naran Bhai's opinion would be something else. You go to certain Bua, he'll give you a different answer. So, you can't, it has to be an extensive study to then come to a consensus. So, it will again become that it will be our version. So, in that particular context, they are free to interpret it as they want, which is very beautiful. They can call it the vehicle of earth, they can call it the asset also, they can call it the deity also, because even if you see the devstal that we see, the image that I put here also, the horses, they're horses only, mainly they're horses. But why specifically the horse? There are multiple interpretations, multiple answers that you get.
Thank you, sir. Vinayak Nandiji has asked, how long does the whole ritual or ceremony last?
So manta, the duration of the manta depends on what difficulty. If somebody in the family is sick, there's monetary problem, there's agricultural issue. That depends. Now, when does the ritual bring? So when the family feels, now my problem has been resolved, now I have to fulfill my promise to Pithora. That from that day he'll go to the Bua and they'll decide a timeline. Okay, from this date, let's say 1st October to 7th October would be my fulfillment. So 7th October, these 7 days would be the entire celebration where feast will be occurred, Bua will come in and do his ritual, the Lakaraga will come in, and the ritual will get eventually ends in the 7 days. So the ritual, this entire ceremony is 7 days. But how long from taking the manta to this 1st October, that depends on the family. It also is an expensive thing, as I said. So the family has to ensure that they have enough to it's not as if they spend the entire money. The village puts in grains and somebody will supply milk, somebody will supply oil. So it's a collective affair because it becomes too expensive, but different elements he has to spend money also. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
This is another curiosity of mine. But is there any connection between Ramdev Peer, who's also depicted with a horse, and Baba Pithora traditions?
Yeah, I guess horse, this entire thing again becomes the same story. We come to the same thing because it used to be a very important asset. It is your most common form of transport. Yeah, how many horses you have, how that that amount of rich you are. So how many cars do you have? If I say if I have a Maruti 800, it might be a low, but if I have an Audi, it becomes a different thing. So what kind of horse do you have? An Arabian horse, or do you have an Indian horse, or which kind of horse? That also depends. So I understand. I have not gone into the. I'm just putting my opinion into it. That is how you get to see a lot of horses, because again you are in the western Indian zone, so you had a lot of horse traders also coming through this entire thing. Sindh used to be have a very famous horse market over there. You even have the Pushkar Mela in Rajasthan. So yeah, animal trading used to be a very important thing in this region.
Thank you, sir. Pallavi Malage has written, how many tribal communities follow this ritual, and do they continue to do this ritual now also?
Yeah, this video that you saw, it is not more than a year ago, so they still follow it very judicially. How many tribes follow? I think predominantly it is the Bhil tradition, but Rathvas are also very closely following it. Apart from that, so spirituality-wise, many worship, but the ritual is done by very few communities. In Gujarat it is mainly the Rathvas, and in MP you'll see some Rathvas and some Bhils, majority Bhils over there in that Amarkantak region and the borders over there.
Uh, Thank you, sir. And again, Anandan sir's question has been slightly changed here. So,
Yeah. No, we already discussed that it's
sorry,
big like. Acha, okay. Is this different?
uh,
I thought it
he has another question.
was
Why is
want to
it
be
cleaned and
feeling
prepared by
prepared.
unmarried girls? Does it make the space more pure? Is that their belief?
I have not gone through this particular. So I looked into the stories. I'm just telling you that ritual. So one of those rituals which has been stuck with me is this particular. The questions that you have are obvious questions. I did not venture into this question. So that Pangu Vidhi, why I put it into this PPT is that that's the white layer that they are going to make on which the Pithora is going to come. Which is why that ritual becomes important, because this is the day that Lakara arrives, the claying of the or the thatching or the coloring is done, and on that surface the Pithora is going to be done, which is why I included that. How it is sacred or not, I didn't go into those elements.
Yes, sir. And slightly changing his earlier question, after the manta is over, and after some time when the painting just fades away, will that wall go back to being a normal wall, or will it continue to be repainted or such?
It can be. It can be. So let's say that they are building a new house. So it's like they'll demolish it, no problem. They'll redo the entire thing again. Not the entire ritual, but a painting of the entire thing. Or repainting is also done if the colors are getting faded out, or the color is peeling away, so they'll get the artist to come, and Lakara will come back, he'll redo the entire thing again, not the entire thing, or whichever way the house owner wants to. But not necessarily is a sacred space. It's like I explained that he is a member of the family who is now there in the family, and on important occasions he will be worshipped.
Yes, sir. And this is the last question for today. After doing this ritual, do their wishes get fulfilled? And if so, there must be no problems in every household. But uh,
It's an
yes,
hypothetical. Do you see air? But you still breathe. It's like that. So yeah, it's a faith based thing. So if you feel that, yeah, my faith is being fulfilled, they can, yeah.
yes.
So I just
Basically,
want to ask
yes.
something. It's
Yeah,
a
please.
bit. I'm curious about it. Is Baba Pithora a brahmachari or
No,
I mean,
he marries.
okay, okay.
So we saw
Because
his wedding in the PPT itself. No? Rani Pithori
yes,
becomes
yes.
his wife, and then Pithori's wife bring gift agriculture to humanity. So he does marry. I
I
don't know if
meant,
he has children.
yeah, that what I meant.
Yeah,
That
okay.
whether he has children or not,
No,
or he
I
was brahmachari.
need to look into that. But yeah,
Because I mean, what I was
so it's
thinking in my mind was there may be connection between I mean, making it compulsory for only unmarried girls to prepare the wall if he didn't had any I mean, I was connecting it with the Hindu mythology. That's why I was thinking it in that way. It may be wrong also.
Uh, can I give my interpretation here? It could be
sure.
that maybe unmarried girls are doing it as part of manta to find a good husband or something. It could be that.
Yeah, sure, that could be
That
also
could
the
be.
reason.
Yeah, I've never asked this question. So yeah,
Uh, so we have come to the conclusion of a very, very interesting session. If Nandan sir wants to add something, or Kavita Kusugal ma'am.
I have visited Chotaudeppur Museum a number of times, and I was invited at Tejgarh by Bhasha along with Dr. Anar Shah, and uh, it is a very good institute, and Hanoz has a good opportunity to stay there and learn so many things. We are highly impressed by the quality of your slides as well, Hanoz.
thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Um, Namaste. It was
Namaste.
a very good, no, very new thing for us all, actually. My students, I think it is first time they are introduced to Rathva traditions and all. And for me, the second time. I know Payal Rathva. So I have
Okay.
seen her art. I've seen her art, and so that is my first acquaintance with this tradition. So I'm very happy that no, my knowledge is extended now.
Okay.
So
Thank you so
thank you.
much.
If we are studying tribal literature paper, but Rathwa tradition we didn't know. So only it is very new, and thank you for enlightening. If you want to know, we'll be contacting you
Sure.
in future.
Sure.
Thank
Sure.
you.
Sure.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much that we don't know about India itself. I mean, it's not 10 lifetimes are not enough. 10 years in Kutch, Manali, ma'am, I'm still yet to see the entire Kutch region. So,
It's very interesting and very rich traditions are there.
yeah.
Painting
Absolutely.
and all. It's very
And it
interesting
is
to know.
very vast. Yes. So we have come to the end of today's session, and I would like to ask Nandan sir to do the honors of proposing the vote of thanks. Sir, you are on mute. Just a second. Yeah.
Hanoz is a very good orator, and I have met him in some of the meetings uh, while planning the National Museum of Tribal Freedom Fighters. And uh, your talk today was a very enlightening one. Thank you very much. And the planning part for today's event, I thank both Manali, Nidhi, and Kavita, madam, and her team of research scholar. And
Thank you.
the introduction part was also taken well care of. And Nidhi also did very good anchoring, and Manali took care of the slides and the audio commentary, and the audience also uh, asked many questions. So, uh, in short, today's event is very, very fruitful, uh, especially for the students. Thank you. Astu.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. So we will visit the museum. We'll come very soon.
It's still in process. It will take another year, ma'am. But sure, absolutely.
No, yes, we'll come.
Yeah.
And thank you, Nandan sir, for being with us. And before we sign out, I would like to uh, talk about the next lecture that we have. It will be on the 21st. So please note that we have a gap of 3 days in between as we are all celebrating Deepavali. So the next lecture is from Harshit Sharma ji. He's a theatre practitioner and writer, and his topic मौखिक आख्यान लोक नायकों के परिप्रेक्ष्य में. So it's another very interesting subject. See you all on 21st at the same time, 8 p.m. Indian Standard Time. So we sign off here. Happy Deepavali to all. Happy weekend.
Happy Deepavali to
Take
you.
care.
Happy Deepavali.
Happy Deepavali and Happy New Year.
Happy Deepavali to all.
Yes.
Happy
Diwali, everyone.
Deepavali. Happy New Year. Thank you. Thank you.
See you all. See you all.